Swimmers will be able to swim in paradise at the new West Indies Bluewater Swim Series, which will launch this year in 2011 at the islands of Nevis, St. Kitts, Turks and Caicos, Grand Cayman Island, and Trinidad. In this exclusive interview, Stephen Munatones of Open Water Source asks Ben Stubenburg, co-founder of the West Indies Bluewater Swim Series, to capture the essence.
If there were 4 words, any words you want, what would they be? What would those words be to describe this new series? Just 4 words. You have 4 swims? Give me 4 words.
Okay. I think, first of all, first word I'd say pristine, and the next word would be water. I think the third word would have to be camaraderie. There certainly is that. And then the fourth word would be everyone. You emphasized that earlier. Novices as well as very experienced swimmers can do this. So I think those 4 words would probably sum it up as best I can.
Blue water, warm water, beautiful water, deep water, turquoise water, pristine water. The West Indies Bluewater Swim Series will be held in the beautifully warm and colorful ocean waters from May to September. The 4 races span and reflect the diversity of the Caribbean islands. Turks and Caicos are just below the Bahamas. The Cayman Islands are south of Cuba. Trinidad is just north of Venezuela. While the first swim of the series is a cross-channel swim from the tropical island of Nevis to its sister island of St. Kitts. As the popularity and participation in open water swimming continues to grow worldwide, the West Indies Bluewater Swim Series will grow with it. The series will foster the excitement, inclusiveness, and camaraderie that are indigenous of the sport. Building upon this spirit, the series will host swimmers of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds to compete, whether they swim to win or simply swim for fitness. The 4 initial races in this series have attracted some of the best swimmers in the world, including several Olympians, as well as recreational, youth, and adult swimmers who enjoy the special challenges of the open water. Each race is independently organized with its own unique character and distinctive attractions, but the series will elevate and promote the Caribbean as a world-class destination for competition and training. Your host for this exclusive presentation is Stephen Munatones, an International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame inductee. He has prepared open water swimming materials used by NBC, USA Swimming, the Beijing Olympic Committee, the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, National Public Radio, and National Geographic Magazine. And now, Open Water Source is pleased to present your host, Stephen Munatones, with Ben Stubenburg, co-founder of the West Indies Bluewater Swim Series.
Hello, we're here with Ben Stubenburg of the new West Indies Bluewater Swim Series. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. Where do we find you this morning?
I'm sitting here, unfortunately, in very cold Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C., wishing that I was in the West Indies.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about this new great series that's going to happen later this year?
Yes, I can. We're very excited. We've just formed the West Indies Bluewater Swim Series, and that basically is 4 races, established races in the West Indies and the Caribbean region that have joined together and basically said, hey, we've got this very, very cool region surrounded by water, and we've been running our races independently. Why don't we join together, link them together, connect them in a way, and promote them together as a destination for great racing?
Okay. Now, you say great water. I think that's a little bit of an understatement. Can you actually explain where these swims are and really how clear and blue the waters are?
I'd love to, absolutely. Well, the whole Caribbean water does have beautiful and pristine water. I mean, you can swim there and really have an incredibly enjoyable experience in all of these races, from the Turks and Caicos Islands to the Cayman Islands to Nevis, and in Trinidad. Those are the four islands that are hosting these races. And the waters there are absolutely beautiful. I mean, you can see down in some of these places, some of these clear waters, 200 feet. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. Turquoise waters, blue waters, hence the emphasis on the Bluewater swim series as part of the name here. So the water is truly spectacular and warm as well, so that people are very comfortable in swimming this thing. In any one of the races, and each one, of course, has its own special challenges.
Yeah. And can you go through each of the races? How far? What's the name? How
Sure.
people can enter?
Absolutely. The four races, as I said, in the Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, and Nevis, and in Trinidad. And I'll start with the first one, Nevis, and this is a cross-channel swim, a 2.5-mile swim from the island of Nevis, which is kind of in the middle of that arc of West Indian islands that extends from, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and all the way down to Trinidad. It's kind of in the middle there. And the swim is from Nevis to St. Kitts, its sister island. So it's an open channel swim there. That people go through. That's a really cool and unique experience that people have to actually be able to swim from one island to the next in that kind of a distance there, and have it as an organized swim. So that's the first one. That's the one that's coming up on March 27th. The next one is in the Cayman Islands, and theirs is a really fantastic swim across alongside 7 Mile Beach, this really long, beautiful beach there. And that's a 1 mile, so it's called the Flowers 1 Mile Swim. And they've been doing this, I think, for maybe 18 or 19 years now. A big swim, lots of people. I think about 800 were at the last one there. And that's it's a very, very popular 1 mile swim with as in all the races, lots of good competitors, but also new people as well, novices that are just trying out for the first time. The next swim is on July 9th, and that's the one in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and that's the one where I'm the co-race director of as well. And last year we had a 1 mile swim there, but we've expanded it to a 1 mile and 2.4 mile swim. And that is in Grace Bay along this really, really beautiful turquoise water. And in July time, the water is very flat, so kind of ideal for good swimming and good races. And that one there is spaced. We've spaced it apart 30 minutes. So the 1 mile will start around 10 o'clock in the morning, and then the 2.4 mile one will start 30 minutes later. So for the fast swimmers, strong swimmers who get in early, they'll be able to do double back-to-back swims. We've just kind of thrown that in there, so it'll be kind of fun for those who are up to that. And but it gives people a little variety too. If you want to just do a 1 mile, that's good. A 2.4 mile longer and challenge yourself in that way, that's great too. Or back-to-back if you really want a super challenge. And then the fourth race is in Trinidad. On the north coast of Trinidad, and that's on September 25th. And they have a 2.5 kilometer swim and a 5 kilometer swim in Maracas Bay, again on the north coast. And I've been to Maracas Bay. I got to tell you, it is just absolutely beautiful. There's the kind of the base of this rainforest, and this big, beautiful bay that kind of comes out there. They've been doing this for many, many years as well. And they have a children's swim, that says the Turks and Caicos swim. Their children's swim is 700 meters. And ours is 100 meters, but it's a chance for kids to kind of try out open water swimming as well. So you have kind of a variety of distances in all these swims under conditions that are similar, but each one kind of with its kind of unique character. One's in, three of them are in bays, but each one in a bay has its own kind of special character depending on where it is. And so something for everybody there. And the thing too is that on these islands, they're all West Indian islands, and they have a very, very welcoming kind of people and culture. So anybody who goes on vacation, or to races in these islands feels immediately welcome to them. So it's a chance too to kind of explore these islands, explore the culture, and on the island, as well as being a participant in the swim, and thereby becoming kind of more part of that island experience.
Got it. So if I heard you correctly, you could be a total beginner, or you can actually be an elite athlete.
Yes.
And you've got distances that range for kids all the way to a 2.4 mile standard Ironman distance swim.
Exactly. I would just say the Nevis swim is 2.5 mile cross-channel swim. You'd probably want to be a little bit more experienced on that one. But if it's your novice first time in the water, you may want to try one of the other races first and go to at one of the lesser distances. But if you're a good swimmer, a good pool swimmer, and and feel comfortable in the water, absolutely that one as well.
Yeah, and what strikes me about this new series is that you're in the same geographic area, more or less, but every single one of these races is totally unique. I mean,
yes.
Your race, it's a race for the conch, if I pronounce that correctly.
Okay, yeah, for the conch, right? Okay.
Conch, and I mean, just that alone is unique. You also have it's also an eco sea swim. What exactly do you mean by that?
Correct. We've kind of made a point. We're not just calling it eco sea swim to sort of associate it with nothing more, but we actually have a Green Globe certification for this to make sure that the things that we do are kind of in line with ecological practices. For example, even small things. We don't, for example, serve drinks that have straws in them, because straws get discarded on the beach and they can get into the water and get into turtles and dolphins and that kind of thing. So we don't want to spoil the marine life in that way. We're keen on recycling and keeping things as ecological as possible, within the constraints that we have. We do have to use motorized vessels and that kind of stuff. We do that for safety reasons, but we try to emphasize more and more kayaks and paddle boards and that sort of thing as part of the safety staff. But the main thing, in addition to being ecologically conscious of what we do in the course of setting up the race, is also to promote. And this is what all the races are doing in the West Indies Bluewater Swim Series does kind of writ large, is to promote the idea that, hey, we've got to protect our reefs, we've got to protect the oceans, not just talk about it, but do things that protect the reefs and the oceans that surround us, because this is the resource that we all rely on as swimmers to use as well. So that's also a very important component of this.
Yeah. I've been down to the Flower Sea Swim, and there are people from all over the North and South America. What is the makeup of the other swims? I assume most of the people are local, as most open water swims are, but do you draw people from other countries and other areas of the world?
Yeah, all of them do, and as you correctly stated, most of the people are local, to the swim there, and it kind of goes into one of the reasons that we also are promoting our races together, is to attract more visitors from overseas. Most of them tend to come from the United States and Canada, but we're getting more European swimmers I've seen in some of these races, and also, as you said, from South America and even other Caribbean islands. It definitely want to make this a much more international race. It is already, but to make it even more so, that's certainly the case. But they're drawn from all over, and I think a good thing to kind of shoot for in the future would be to even draw more broadly from Latin America as well as from Asia. We haven't really pushed that. It's a long way to come, but we have a lot to offer as well. So we obviously hope to get more Americans and Canadians coming, and folks from Europe, but why not go broader than that, and get people from other continents as well?